This story is titled My Boyfriend Hides His Phone from Me and Changed His Password Without Telling Me. I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this. My name is Claire, I'm 42, and I've been with my boyfriend Daniel for almost 3 years. We met in the most unexpected way, at a bookstore when we both reached for the same novel. That moment felt like something out of a movie, and maybe that's why I fell for him so fast. Daniel was charming, thoughtful, and funny in a way that made me feel like I had found my person. We moved in together a year ago, and up until recently, everything felt right. I wasn't naive. I knew relationships had ups and downs. But this was different. It started subtly. At first, I noticed he'd angle his phone away from me when he texted. I chalked it up to privacy, after all, everyone deserves that. But then I noticed he would quickly lock his screen whenever I walked into the room. He'd get up and take calls in the hallway instead of sitting next to me like he used to. Then one night, I reached for his phone to check the time while he was in the shower, something I had done dozens of times before. But instead of the familiar numbers popping up, I was met with a password screen. My heart stopped. Daniel never had a password on his phone before. We always trusted each other enough to leave our devices open. So why did he change it without telling me? I swallowed my panic and decided to ask him about it when he came back. "Hey," I started, keeping my voice light. "I went to check the time on your phone, but I saw you put a password on it." He froze for half a second, so brief I almost missed it. Then he forced a smile. "Oh, yeah. I had to do that for work. They require it now for security reasons." Something about the way he said it didn't sit right. "Okay, so what's the password?" I asked, keeping my tone casual. He hesitated, just for a moment, and that moment stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. "It's just work stuff, Claire. You don't need to worry about it." That was when I knew. Something was wrong. That night, I lay in bed next to him, staring at the ceiling, my heart pounding. My mind spiraled with possibilities. Was he hiding something? Was there someone else? I hated myself for even thinking that way. Daniel wasn't like that, right? But once doubt settles in, it spreads like poison. The next few days were torture. Every time he picked up his phone, I felt a pit in my stomach. I started paying closer attention to his behavior, how he seemed to be texting more than usual, how he'd laugh at messages but never share them with me, how he'd stay up late scrolling through his phone with a locked screen. I wanted to trust him. But trust isn't blind. Trust is built on transparency, and Daniel was shutting me out. So I did something I never thought I'd do. One evening, while he was in the shower, I picked up his phone. I knew it was wrong. I knew I was crossing a line. But I couldn't stop myself. I tried a few passwords. His birthday, our anniversary, even his childhood pet's name. Nothing worked. That should have been my answer. But instead, I felt my chest tighten with panic. If it was just work security, why would he make the password something I'd never guess? I put the phone down before he could catch me, but the seed of doubt had already taken root. The next day, I decided to confide in my best friend, Lisa. "You don't just change your password without telling your partner unless you're hiding something," she said bluntly, sipping her coffee. "But what if I'm overreacting?" I asked, my voice small. Lisa gave me a look. "Claire, you're not stupid. You know him. If something feels off, it probably is." I hated that she was right. That night, I tried to act normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was lurking beneath the surface. Then, at 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of a notification. Daniel was fast asleep beside me, but his phone, locked, as always, was lighting up on the nightstand. I stared at the screen. A name I didn't recognize. A message preview that made my blood run cold. I can't stop thinking about last night. I felt like the air had been sucked from my lungs. My hands trembled as I reached for his phone, but of course I couldn't unlock it. I sat there, staring at him as he slept peacefully beside me, completely unaware that my entire world had just shattered. I sat in the dim glow of his phone screen, my pulse hammering in my ears. I read the message again, hoping, praying that I had misunderstood. But the words were clear. "I can't stop thinking about last night." I could barely breathe. My mind raced through the possibilities, each one worse than the last. Who was this person? What happened last night? Was it what I thought it was? My hands trembled as I placed the phone back on the nightstand. I wanted to wake him up, shake him, demand answers. But a small, bitter voice inside me whispered, "Would he even tell you the truth?" So instead, I lay back down, staring at the ceiling, feeling the cold weight of betrayal settle into my chest. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined him with someone else, laughing, touching, kissing. By morning, I had made up my mind. I needed the truth. When Daniel woke up, he stretched and gave me a sleepy smile. Morning, babe. I studied his face. So normal. So familiar. But now all I could see was deception. Who's Emily? I asked, my voice eerily calm. Daniel blinked, caught off guard. What? Emily. The name that popped up on your phone last night, I said, watching him closely. She said she couldn't stop thinking about last night. I expected him to deny it, to scramble for a lie. But what I wasn't prepared for was the flicker of panic in his eyes. It was small, but it was there. And that was all I needed. Claire, it's not what you think, he started, sitting up. I swear. My stomach twisted. Liars always swear. Then tell me what it is, I said, my voice shaking. Tell me why she's texting you in the middle of the night about last night. He opened his mouth, then closed it, his jaw clenched. It's complicated. I let out a sharp laugh, one that didn't even sound like me. Complicated? That's the best you've got? He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Claire, please. It's not like that. Then unlock your phone. His entire body stiffened. That was it. The final confirmation. You can't, can you? My voice broke. Because if you did, I'd see everything, wouldn't I? He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. Claire, you're jumping to conclusions. Am I? I spat. Then prove me wrong. Silence, a thick, suffocating silence. Tears burned behind my eyes, but I refused to cry. Not in front of him. Not when he didn't deserve my tears. I stood up. I deserve better than this, Daniel. My voice wavered, but I held my ground. I deserve honesty. I deserve trust. And if you can't give me that, then this are done. His face fell. Claire, wait. But I was already walking away. I grabbed my keys, my hands shaking so badly I nearly dropped them. I needed air. I needed space. As I drove aimlessly through the quiet streets, everything felt surreal. 3 years. 3 years of laughter, love, and memories, shattered in a single night. I pulled over at a park and let out a shaky breath. My heart hurt. My chest ached. But deep down, beneath the pain, there was something else. Clarity. I had been right to trust my instincts. I had been right to demand the truth. And no matter how much it hurt now, I knew one thing for sure. I would rather walk away than stay in a relationship built on secrets. And that was my closure. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have you ever experienced something like this? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your stories.